Okay, so Joy and I made a few slides on do's and don'ts during your gap year. And Joy, feel free to jump in at any time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, because we wrote these together, so.
Well, I think the first thing that I'd really like to point out is the first do is to evaluate how to improve yourself in your application. Especially me as someone who had applied the second time, I reached out, excuse me, to the programs I had applied to, and I had said, you know, can you let me know what I need to improve on? And a lot of the responses that I got were, let me know what you think you need to improve on. So what I do recommend, if you do reach out to the admissions committees or dental schools, that you look at your application and you have something that you can say to them or ask if it's something you need improvement on. Like, is it your academics, is it your GPA, your DAT, or is it your lack of volunteering or shadowing? And I feel like every dental school is different. They have different expectations for their students. So if there's that, those top 3 or top school that you want to go to, make sure you're really listening to what they want you to do.
That is really good advice. I know that I can speak for at least the UF College of Dentistry that you can set up a meeting with the admissions committee to talk about areas in which they want you to improve. But I know that they don't want to do that until the spring, but before the next cycle starts, but after December, because that's kind of when things are a little less crazy for them in terms of the school year. And I know at UFCD, self-assessment is something that once you are a dental student, they really want you to continue to do. Like in my dental anatomy course, we are constantly self-assessing and reevaluating where do I need to improve. So I think it's just a good skill in general to be able to self-assess.
Absolutely. And like, for example, for me, I had the next bullet point you'll see is academic enrichment. I had to retake my DAT. And that's perfectly fine. I've met plenty of people who have retaken it. And I know when you need to, it feels like a arrow to the heart, but it's just something every dental student has to go through in the nation. And ASDA gives you so much support in retaking the DAT with the resources, and the dental students are so awesome at sharing their stories and their tips. You could do what Carly and I did, taking the post-bac classes, being part of a program like a one-year master's program or the post-bac program at UF, and those are really good options. I know in Texas, there's a university called UNT that offers a one-year medical master's program. Very rigorous, but it's definitely something they like to see because those classes are very close to what you're going to take in dental school, or or the classes are the same. So if they see that you do well in those classes and you had a lower GPA in your undergraduate career, that's kind of like your way of recovering, and showing that you were a non-traditional student, you weren't a science major, you were a dancer like Carly, but you did well in this program, and now you can handle the rigors of dental school. That's what everyone tells me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And gaining work experience, whatever it is, whether you're dental assisting, medical assisting, from what I hear in the Texas dental schools, they really like to see that you're in a job that you're exercising your communication skills, and you're kind of problem solving from day to day, and you know how to talk to people, and you have the skill of conflict resolution. I think that's a really important thing in dental school and even in the dental profession.
Absolutely.
And another thing is dental shadowing. Like Carly said, she had shadowed quite a lot. I had shadowed as well. I think I had around 100 hours of GP shadowing or general practice dentistry, and then I kind of did a couple in specialty dentistry. And so showing that you're shadowing during that year, it's just keeping your interest alive and showing the AdComs that you know, you're not just, they pretty much know where you're spending your time. I think that's a good answer. And of course, sorry.
I have something to add on that, Joy. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Shadowing, I know at least for UF that people would always ask at pre-dental days, how many hours do I need? Thinking that it's like this magic number that they need to hit for their application. But that isn't necessarily true, at least for that school, because they take a very holistic approach. So, you know, maybe you don't have as much shadowing, but you have a ton of research, or maybe you don't have as much shadowing, but you worked in a dental office for a few years. So there's going to be great variety in the number of hours. So what they always stressed was don't focus on the number, but focus on the quality of that time that you spent. I mean, were you really engaged in the experience? One thing that a lot of people recommend is when you're shadowing to have a little notebook and kind of jot down things you learned and, you know, high points, or, you know, so that then when you're kind of getting ready for your application and for interviews, you can really look back and see how much you learned from that experience. I personally didn't get asked this question, but I have friends who were asked questions like, describe your favorite dental procedure. So if you say that you had 300 hours of shadowing, but you can't explain the steps in a filling, well, then they're going to wonder, what were you doing while you were shadowing?
Right.
You weren't paying any attention. So, yeah.
That's excellent. And they do have that character count description in the application where you can talk about your shadowing experience. So that notebook is so helpful. Thank you so much, Carly, for adding that. And another point that we have in what to do during the gap year is get involved in leadership. Really showcase your character. You know, become an officer for your ASDA predental chapter or your predental club. And if you can't become an officer for that, don't fret. You can always become a leader in your community, in your cultural organization that you're a part of, or in your church. There's plenty of ways that you exhibit leadership. So I know that here in Texas, a lot of predentals are so sad when they don't become elected as a predental leader at the university, but they have so many great things outside of the university that they do, like they're involved in their church, they're part of the Lions Club or Rotary, and I mean, there's just so many opportunities out there for you to get involved and to showcase your skills. And there's so many things you can do for leadership that can make you shine on your application. So keep that in mind.